Hi, and welcome to my build video for my Frostblades character you can play in the Betrayal League. This character has done so well for me in the past few leagues, and it has basically gotten no changes that hurt it. It can only help it in the Betrayal League. So, what has changed with our build? Well, for now you can use a banner if you want to. Banners are pretty good. They're not going to be a great addition to the build for Frostblades, but you can definitely use it if you want to and experience the new game mechanics. I've also added variants to the Frostblade character itself, for you, so you want to have more eye candy. You can use a light potion, which I'll be showing in just a few seconds here, and that kind of stuff. So, without further ado, I'm gonna show you the gameplay. Okay, so for the gameplay, we're gonna be using a shaped burial grounds of a map of tier 8. This thing is 8 mogs, the Val Orb. They're pretty hard mogs, not gonna lie. They're a little hard here. They got the unique boss, has increased health, so the boss is gonna be a bit more tankier. And then it's just mogs affect the player for the most part, so I'll have a bit less survivability here. And the mobs will be harder because they have the Nemesis mogs on them. And there will be rogue exiles. So it's about I would say, a mediocre to moderately hard map. So here we go. This is about pretty normal to a bit more above average though, so it should be a good showcase of the build.
Low on mana.
Oh, we have a Abyss here. Oh, what the hell is that? What dropped? Another exalted orb, bro. Come on, man. But yeah, that was a Abyss with pretty hard mogs on it. Not bad. We almost died there a few times, mostly due to me being stupid and me running for that exalted orb. But yeah, if you play smart with this build, you probably will not die a lot. If you have decent life, that is. This is all recording standard, by the way, right before the league. So this is not actually the Betrayal League, but this is exactly how the build will play in Betrayal.
Warrior.
Okay. Now we're gonna go fight the boss. And before we fight the boss, I would like to show you how we fight bosses on the Frostblades build. Frostblades is a bit more different than a regular boss fight build, where you just run in there with your current gear and kill it. And the way we do this is we go ahead and we have a Ruthless leveling up on our weapon, or anywhere else. It can be in any slot, but weapons are usually where you put them. Ruthless is basically a single target, a support gem. It will increase your attacks pretty greatly against a single target because every third hit deals way more damage. So if you just replace your Ancestral Call with this when you're fighting a boss, it will die way faster. I'm going to show you that now. A little laggy, I don't know why. I guess this room's not a great boss fight, but there you go, the boss is dead. And as you can see, they're dying within about 5 seconds. And the boss usually die faster, but that boss had increased health from the map mod. Okay, so now I want to show you my gear and gem setup. This is it's a pretty simple for your standard Frostblades build, but we do some things different, and I'd like to showcase that now. So our main gear, our main weapons, are Touch of Angushes. These things are great items. They are pretty budget, usually only about 5 to 10 chaos at the beginning of the league, and they drop down to about 1 chaos after about a week. So they're very cheap, they're very good, and they really have no downsides to them. They beat most rares. The only rares that can really beat them are Shaper rares, and those are very, very costly, and usually they're very beaten by a very small margin, so these things are amazing. And the reason they're so great is because they give you frenzies, and they have a chance to freeze without even critting. It's pretty great. And now for our helmet. For our helmet we use a Sarkhanja's Head. Sarkhanja's Head is pretty great because it gives you attack speed, it gives you dexterity, and it gives you life. Which is all pretty great for your dexterity builds, because more dexterity is more evasion, that kind of stuff. But the life from this thing is really where it stands out. 100 life is pretty great for your helmets, because I think the max really you can get a normal helmet without any other mods is 90. So having 100 life on here is pretty great. And you also have the increased global evasion, which is very helpful when you get low life. It can save you a lot. You won't really notice it because usually you can't really see that when you're low life because the screen goes dark, but it will save you. I can guarantee it. And we also have a swap out if you want to, and that is a light poacher. Now, the only reason you would swap out your Sarkhanja's Hood for a light poacher is you want a bit more eye candy in the screen. Light poacher is basically your standard clear speed helmet. It just has more damage, and it has a bit more of a cool factor to it because it shoots orbs out. So if you're about the like style of gameplay, light poacher might be your thing. I'm gonna show you both of them so you don't have to pick out and decide what one you want to do with just on your own money. So for our starting out, we're gonna be doing a our Sarkhanja's Hood though first. Now let's look at our chest plate. Our chest plate is a pretty big part of our build. It is a unique item. It is called Belly the Beast. Belly the Beast is a great item because it gives you life and res. Now that is about it. That's all Belly the Beast really does is its life and res. But the life amount you get from Belly the Beast is so great. Like right there, it is about about 500. That is pretty fantastic. And then that's about it for the ability pieces. It's just a life item. That's all it really is. For our rings, we use life rings, and they have pretty high res in them. I'm not gonna lie, it might be a little hard to get these rings sometimes, but ideally for your rings you want life, a little bit of res on them. Elemental damage of attacks is a great item. A great mod to get in your rings. You can also get things like increased cold damage, which is pretty great, or accuracy. You want about 300 accuracy on at least one of your items, because having accuracy on one of your items makes it so you don't have to take any nogs, and that is a great way to save on points. So I highly recommend you have at least a little bit of accuracy on one of your rings, or your amulet, either one. Same thing with the other ring, same exact way you want to level it up and mod it and that kind of stuff. And for our amulet, you want about the same thing as a ring. You just want life, a little bit of res on this one. You don't really want to go for res in your amulet though. You want mostly just offensive stats. So you want to go life, physical damage if you can. Elemental damage to attacks is a great thing to get on there, and also crit multiplier. All of those things are great mods having your amulet and stuff like that. So I highly recommend you try and do that. Now for gloves, our main glove you want to have is a spike glove. Spike gloves are level 70, pretty high level up there, but they're so great. They give you increased melee damage, right on the implicit, which is great. Then you have a lot of options here, because you can have a lot of res on your gloves. So usually I go life as a priority, and then I go res, and whatever res I can get on this thing is pretty great, because they're kind of costly. But then you want to try and get attack speed as a last resort thing, like as a if you have a lot of money, you want to get that. Not last resort, but yeah. Attack speed on gloves is so great because this will increase your global attack speed. This will increase your whirling blades attack speed, so you go faster. And it also increases your Frostblades attack speed, which is even greater, which is more damage. So if you can get attack speed in your gloves, it's great. But if you can't, then don't worry about it because it's so costly that you probably don't want to do it anyway. Now for belt, we just use a pretty standard belt here. This is a leather belt with a lot of life on it. So for belts, you want to aim for high life, res, of course, because belts are always great for res. And then, if you can, you want to aim for damage to attacks. This is a pretty great way to get some more damage on your belt without really sacrificing anything, because damage to attacks is a prefix, and reses are a suffix. So if you can get damage to attacks on here for the sheep or on the Torah mod, it's pretty great. Now, for boots. Boots are also very simple. We just use a life boot. Usually you want to go for armor boot, but you want to go typically armor boot, so you want reg sockets. And then you want life as a priority, of course. Any res are missing at all, so if you have like a 15 res you need or something, you can just slap on your boots. And then your third most wanted mod is movement speed. Movement speed is mostly for quality of life when you're in towns and when you're in your hideout. Because when you're in combat, you're going to be using Whirling Blades. Because Whirling Blades is way faster than any character you can possibly have with movement speed. It's just so fast. And now for your flask. Typically for your flask, you want a Eternal Life flask with staunching and bubbling for your bleeding and that's more life recovery. Azuri's Promise for damage and leech. Quicksilver Flask for movement speed when you're just moving around. Silver Flask because you attack faster. Pretty nice. And Diamond Flask because a guaranteed crit is always nice. That is basically it for Flask. Now let's look at gems. For gems, we're using Whirling Blades, Fortify, and faster attacks for our first weapon. For our helmet, we're using Assassin's Mark, Curse on Hit, Hero Device, and Hatred. And for other weapon, we're using Ancestral Call, Cast Damage Taken, and Summon Ice Golem. Now, you may be saying, why Ancestral Call on Ice Golem? This is because we use a hot swap on our Ruthless, or Ancestral Call, vice versa. This is because when you're on a boss fight, you usually put in Ruthless for more damage. And when you're clearing packs, you put on Ancestral Call for more clear speed. Both of these things are great. Now, for our main chest plate and our main weapon we use, or our main skill I mean, we use Frostblades. Frostblades is a great skill. It gives you move speed, not move speed, it gives you clear speed, and it is just very easy to scale with no money. And that's why this is a great budget build for solo self-found and core leagues that are trade leagues. Now for Frostblades, you typically want Ancestor Call on it, Hypothermia, Multi-Strike, and multi-damage to attacks, and added cold damage. All these things give you great damage multipliers, and they really optimize your clear speed and your damage dealing on bosses. So I highly recommend you use this setup. I have 5-link and 4-link setups in the build guide. I'm not going to go through that right now, but it's all in the build guide of the 5 links and 4 links and all that kind of stuff. You can't have a 6-link right now. Now for gloves, we use Conk Effect, Melee Fizz, Ancestral Warchief, the Val version, because Val Warchief Totem is very great. And we also use elemental damage attacks. Now, if you are doing your light potion setup, because you want more eye candy or it's more fun, then you had to get rid of a setup right here. So we would get rid of our gems and our gloves if we're doing the light potion. So if you're doing light potion, you would go like this, swap it out, and you would take a new glove, basically a 2 green, 2 blue, and this is where you put your orbs instead. And this allows you to have your light potion with no downsides really, other than losing your worship totem, which is a pretty big damage decrease, but you don't really lose any of your auras. This is the best way to use it, and it still allows you to do pretty good. But typically on this build, you want to be using the Sarcomagus Hood because it's more new player friendly, and it also is safer. And then for our boots. For our boots, we use Frost Bomb, level 10, Increased Duration, level 20, Immortal Call, level 3, and Cast Damage Taken, level 1. These levels are very important. If you level past it, you have to get a new gem or downscale it by using a scouring with it in the vendor shop. So the reason why I have these gems at level 1 and level 10 and level 3 is because Cast Damage Taken is a ability where it only casts a skill if it matches the level of the gem. So right here it says this gem can only cast level 38 gems or lower, and that is why we do it. So this is level 38 and level 36. And basically Frost Bomb, when you get hit, will get cast, and that makes it so if they have life regen, it decreases it by 75%. That is a very big difference, and it helps a lot, and it also decreases the resistance to cold, so you do more damage against them as well. It's very nice. But that is it for gems. Now let's go to Passive Tree. For Passive Tree, our Passive Tree is pretty simple here. We just basically start at the Shadow Tree and get life, damage nodes, frenzy nodes, a lot of damage nodes again. And we go down to the duelist side of the tree and get all these nodes over here. I'm not going to go in depth on why we do this because I have it explained far better than I can in a video on the written guide. The written guide also contains leveling skill trees, endgame transition skill trees where you're just getting into endgame. So I highly recommend you go to the build guide, other than using the build video as a reference. The build guide has way better references for when you're playing the game, and you don't have to pause the video and go back and look at what I'm doing. It's all in the description below. Now for ascendancies, we use Ambush and Assassinate, Opportunistic, Unstable Infusion, and Deadly Infusion. Now, in the order you want to do this, you want to do Ambush and Assassinate first, Opportunistic second, Unstable Infusion third, and Deadly Infusion last. This gives you a great scale of damage and like clear speed while you're leveling. It makes the game feel pretty great. It's the way I recommend you do it. You can do other versions of it though, and try your own method out and see if it works out better or worse. But that's usually the try and testing way that I try and play the build. Now, let's do Pantheons. For Pantheons, it's pretty simple. You mostly want to be doing Soul of Brine King and Soul of Yule. These are the main ones you want to be using constantly, basically. This will save your life constantly, and this will also save your life constantly. They're mostly defensive. So, that's about it for Pantheons. Well, that's about it for the video. I hope it helped you. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them below, and I'd like to answer as I can. You can also follow me on Twitch. I go live on there quite a bit. And you can ask questions about the build or anything like that instantly and get instant feedback. And I don't mind it, so feel free to. I'm going to do this with if I hate questions, so feel free to leave them. I do not care. Yeah, but if you like the video, give it a like. It helps me out a lot. People can find it, then help other people out who want to do my builds with me. That kind of stuff. I also have a Discord. You can find a link below. My Discord is basically a community of my viewers and the build people. So you can ask questions about the build in there. I'm usually on most days, and so are mods. My mods can help you out with the builds, like that kind of stuff. So feel free to go in the Discord and just talk to people. Everybody in there is really nice. And if you have any questions, you can probably find a lot of your questions on the frequently asked questions on the build guide itself. There's a written guide that has my reference skill trees, my leveling skill trees, my endgame transition skill trees, all that kind of stuff that is far better wording and explaining than I could do in videos. It's all down there, and it's updated constantly. So feel free to go there and get the most updated copy of the build. But that's it. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you, and peace.